Hello, everyone. Welcome to GA's Tea Time. We discuss all things General Hospital. If you haven't already, please hit the bell notification. The like and subscribe really helps the channel. And I want to send a special thank you for everybody that has already subscribed. So, guys, let's get our teacups, let's get our snacks, and let's get ready to discuss our favorite characters. General Hospital Daily Recap, Monday, March 23rd, 2026. So, guys, there were a bunch of folks in this episode. We had some Laura, some Brooklyn, some Cullum, or a lot of Cullum, Jason, and many more. So, let's see what our favorite bunch of characters are up to. So, the whole situation between Dante, Jason just escalated out of control, which was kind of crazy because so Dante asked Jason for his gun, right? You know he came there. I should go back. He came and said the WSB had issued a warrant for Jason to come into the station. So he's like, I have to take your gun. So Jason was like, I have a license to carry. He was like, well, I still have to take it anyway. So Jason was getting ready to hand over his gun, and then Danny came out. I was like, oh, brother. So Danny was like, Dad, what's going on? And then, they were looking at them and stuff like that. Now, they could have played that off a little bit. Dante could have been like, no weapons in the game. Don't worry about it, or something like that. No, Dante's still playing the letter of the law. He's just like, no, we got to take your father in. This poor kid, he out there playing his basketball game and stuff like that. Alexis was like, look, I'm gonna go call Diane, and make sure everything is taken care of. So it was so bad that Jason couldn't even wait for Danny to be out of eyesight. He just clocked Jonte in the head, like headbutted him and ran off. But he told Danny, he was like, "Don't follow me," because so he remember he told Danny already he was leaving because for to help a friend. So Danny kind of already had an idea that his father was going to be out, but not like this. So anyway, Dante gets up, recovers from getting headbutted, and then he's like, calling to put an APP out on Jason. Danny freaks out because he was like, if the cops try to go after my father because Dante says he's armed and dangerous. He said they might kill my father. I'm like, Dante could have did all this without Danny standing there. He should have insisted that they leave. Then he could have called for backup. I'm telling you guys, I don't like when they put people in these police roles. It just makes them really irritating. But all right, anyway, later he called in Chase and Nathan, right? So it's so funny seeing Chase in that policeman uniform. Dante was giving him like a brief briefing, but he told Chase, go over there and take statement from Danny and Alexis. I was like, Dak, Chase just looks so defeated. Anyway, Nathan was like, look, what, I don't know what's going on here. He was like, the WSB got me over here doing this thing with this warrant. What's going on? He was like, you know what, get Brennan down here. So he told Chase to go call Brennan. And Brennan came down there, and Brennan's like, I don't like being summoned. I was like, eh. It's just like, whatever. So Dante was like, what is with this warrant? So Brennan was like, I didn't issue no warrant. So now Dante sees there was no warrant issue, right? So they're going back and forth with each other. At the end of everything, Dante was kind of like, look, I don't like being like the pawn boy or whatever you want to call it for the WSB. Like, y'all using my stuff to get y'all stuff done, But anyway, he's called the cops. I mean, he's kept saying to everybody else, we have to get Jason to come in. And that's what that was left. But hopefully Dante can see that there's more going on here, and maybe, I don't know. Who knows? But I think that he got to use that third eye or something like that. Use some brain cells, Dante, and realize there's a little more going on with what they showing or what they presenting. And I mean, he's worked for the WSB before, so he should know better. But we'll see what happens with this. Brennan was over there at Britt's house and Nathan came in. So Nathan was like, what you doing in my sister's room? And he was like, oh, I have WSB business with her and I could be here. Then he just starts looking through her stuff. And I'm like, he can't he can't be just doing that. So Nathan was just like, look, you're not supposed to be going through her stuff. He said I could do whatever I want. I am getting tired of Brennan. He's getting on my nerve. So he did go through Britt's drawer and he realized most of her clothes was missing. So Nathan realized that he was telling the truth and that most of her stuff was missing. So Nathan started getting a little concerned, but he was like, I have business with Britt and I will find her. So we'll see what happens. We, with Brennan finding Britt, but He needs to just stop being so annoying and just go do some work. Go take down Cullum. You know, you got Britt over here doing his whatever he wants her to do or whatever that is. But I wish he would just focus on Cullum. He knows he's the link to all of the nonsense. Wait a minute, guys. You know what you should do right now? You should hit that subscribe button because it really helps the channel. Anyway, Valentine was making a fancy dinner for Carly. He had put the wine, the flowers, the nice plates, all of the whole 9 yards on this dinner, right? So Carly came in and she was just upset. She was like, "What are you doing? Somebody could have came in with me and they could have saw you cooking and doing this stuff and you don't get in trouble." So Valentine was like, "I took a chance. I wanted to do something nice for you, right?" So Carly was still going at him, and then he just kind of was like, "You know what?" He's, "I'm gonna take my wine and my food and go up to the attic and eat by myself." So Carly was like, "No, no, 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 wait a minute, wait a minute." She's like, "You did so much, went to so much trouble. Come on, we'll eat the dinner, right?" Valentine did ask her again. I don't know why he keeps asking her this question. Does she regret sleeping with him? And Carly was kind of doing some beating around the bush, but she was like, "No, I didn't regret it." She doesn't regret that. We don't regret it either. Leave that woman alone. Stop asking her that. If anything, get back upstairs. Wasting our time. But yeah, so they was having a dinner and drinking the wine. But you know what, guys? The one thing I was hoping, I was like, I hope that bottle of wine don't mean something because they was really focused on this bottle of wine. And I was like, I hope that's like a nice special brand that only Valentine drinks. And then Brennan comes over and see the bottle, something stupid like that. But I'm gonna believe that it was just, to show how much effort he was putting into this meal. They was really having a good conversation, and then Lucas knocked on the door. I was like, "Lucas, not right now. Come a little later, a little later." But anyway, Valentine hightailed it out there. They kind of fixed up the table, make it look like Carly was eating by herself. Lucas comes in. And he starts telling Carly about how he's leaving Windermere. Him and Marco are out of there. They staying at the Metro Court. He didn't go into detail why. He just said that, it was time they was going to get out. Carly was pretending like she was happy. She was happy because Lucas is leaving, but they did need to get into that house. So no dinner party and no what they call it, no Valentine being able to get around the thing. I'm sure they'll figure out some other way to get up in there. But yeah, so Lucas was just like, he's happy that Marco chose him over his father. But Carly was warning him. She was just kind of like, be careful with that. Sewell's a dangerous man, and this could come back and bite you, But Lucas is really adamant that they should be okay. I don't know how he could be like that, but whatever. This is where we at. So Lucas and Marco are supposedly going to be happily ever after, and Carly and Valentine, Lucas need to get out so they can finish up their meal or their time together. Bye. So Britt was at the pier and she was talking to Lucas, and she was really thanking Lucas for getting that medication for her. She was like in tears, and she was like, you really saved my life, and thank you so much. And she was giving praise to Marco too. So Lucas said something, I can't remember exactly what she said, and he was like, "Oh, we're not worried about Sidwell bothering us." But Britt did warn him. She was like, "Don't go back to Windermere, because it's not just Sidwell. There's other people in play." This is even if it was just Sidwell, they really need to take more precautions than they have been. They are kind of loosey-goosey with this. But anyway, Lucas left, and then Cullum came up. Here go Cullum. He got a gun pointed at Britt, and he's just like, "Where do you think you going? Give me that medication." So poor Britt had to give him the medication. She should have threw that bag in the river or something like that. Maybe to float it for a little bit. But she gave him medication. He stomped on it and stuff like that. I didn't mention last week too that Rocco is in the hiding behind a wall, so he's hearing all of this stuff. He heard the interaction between her and Lucas, so he knows that Britt needed some kind of medication. He knows that whole story. He's hearing this whole interaction between her and Cullum. So Rocco's getting the whole detail. So I hope Rocco can tell his father some of this after all this stuff is said and done. But it seemed like Cullum just got fed up with Britt because he was like, "You know what? I'm just going to get rid of you." I'm like, if this thing is 2 days from being done, why don't you just force her over to the island and finish it? He's talking about, "Oh, she's too much work. I don't feel like being bothered with her." So he getting ready to shoot her. I'm like, that's insane. Like, what is wrong with him? So, before he can, do what he's going to do, Jason jumped out and Jason just like hit him. So him and Jason are going at each other and stuff like that. And I'm like, "Colin, you know you ain't gonna win this fight. Cut that out." So So he's, really kind of going at Jason and stuff like that. So Jason almost gets the best of him. And Colin pulled out one of them sticks, those long beat 'em up sticks the police officers use. And he was getting ready to hit Jason or something like that. And Rocco came out and pow-powed Colin. I said, oh no. How are they going to handle this? And here's my thing. Here's my dilemma. Not even a dilemma. Jason needs to let Rocco tell the truth. He is not going to be good at keeping a secret. This kid is going to be bothered by doing this. Let him tell the truth. I know Jason be like, no, don't tell nobody. Just say I did it. No, let him tell the truth. Let him tell the whole truth. Everything that he overheard, everything that he's seen, everything. Because if they make this kid lie, he is going to have some kind of meltdown later. And I don't think they should do that. But I know how Jason is. He ain't going to want the kid to take, Rocco to take the blame or nothing like that. He want to be the superhero. But they should let Rocco just tell what happened. Colin stabbed Marco. Can you believe that? It's so ridiculous. Anyway, he stabbed him. He's bleeding on the floor. Colin is like, well, kind of like you got what you paid for, and left. So later on, like Marco's trying to get to his phone and everything, but he's done lost too much blood. Later, after that whole incident with Jason, with Dante and Alexis comes to her law firm because she's like, okay, I got to contact Diane. She had to get some papers or something like that. Danny is like saying, listen, can we go? Because, can we go to the police station so we can see when they bring in my dad? So he don't even want to go in her office. He just wants to leave to get to the police station. So Alexis and him are standing at the door. So I'm hoping, Alexis opens the door and see him on the floor. But we going to see what happens. I don't know. Marco's not looking good right now. Martin came to tell Laura that he was leaving town, that he got a case out in Reno or something like that. It's a good case, it's making a lot of money, stuff like that. Laura felt it really bad because now Kevin, baby's gone, and now Martin. So she was just like, it's okay because Martin felt a little bad. He said, I feel like I'm abandoning you. And Laura was like, no, it's okay. You should go get your money and stuff like that. So anyway, Martin leaves. Here comes Sidwell. So find out Sidwell is the one that gave Martin the job because he said he don't like that Martin seemed like he getting closer to knowing that Sidwell got some stuff over her. Look, Laura made some valid points to Sidwell. Sidwell was kind of like, yeah, he needs this, this, and this. She was like, this is going to start looking so obvious. Sidwell seems bright sometime, like he seemed like he know what he doing, but then he asks for stupid stuff over and over again, and then it's like people are going to catch on because people are not dumb. Like, it's just. So Laura was just like, people are going to realize what's going on. And he's like, no, no, it's okay. You just keep doing what I tell you to do and nobody's going to catch on. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with him? And then he keeps on making these stupid threats to Laura, like threatening her family, threatening their safety and stuff like that. So Laura's kind of like, what if somebody did that to your kid? Hello. So he was just like, she's like, wouldn't the wrath come out? And he's like, well, I would assess the situation. Yeah, right. When he finds out what happened with Marco, he assessed the situation. Okay, anyway, I will see what happens. I don't think he's gonna be as calm as he thinks he is around threatening everybody's family. He's just ridiculous. And I hope Laura can get out underneath his thumb, but we'll see what happens. It's only a matter of time he find out what happened to Marco. So Tracy came to the hospital to meet Brooklyn, and they were talking about baby Paevey. And Tracy was telling her she don't think it's a good idea for her to foster this baby. I'm like, come on, baby ain't got nobody right now, and y'all got a whole bunch of everything. Let Brooklyn foster this baby. But anyway, Tracy was kind of giving her the rundown why she don't think it's a good idea. And but she, I can understand that. She was like, you're gonna get attached to this baby, and then if the family come along, you're gonna have to give this baby up. What you gonna do? You're gonna be feeling bad. And Brooklyn did say, you know what, I will feel bad, but the child doesn't have anybody. I want to be there for them. Then Tracy was saying, well, maybe you're doing this because the problems you and Chase were having. And Brooklyn shut that down because she was like, I wouldn't bring a baby into this just to get through something that me and Chase are going through. She was like, I really feel for this baby because it doesn't have anybody, which is understandable. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of everything, Tracy understood. She's like, okay, well, you know what? Let me go meet baby Paevey since she's going to be living in our house. So they went upstairs to see the baby, which I'm happy Tracy finally got on board with. But guys, what did you think about this episode? What was your favorite part? And what was your least favorite part? My least favorite part is still that whole thing with Jason and Dante and all that. I don't like where they're going with Dante's character. I don't like that they did all that in front of Danny. And I could even say, you know what? I didn't even like that they made Rocco the one that shot Cullum. It's a bit much, okay? I don't think they should have did that either. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. I would love to hear from you guys. I try to answer every comment that comes through. You guys have fun conversations down there, so I am waiting to see what you guys got to say. And don't forget to hit that bell notification and the like and subscribe button. Thank you guys again for joining us at GHT time. Till next time, bye.